Welcome back, guys. Equity Podcast, Coach Barrick here. We're talking about what is fitness today, and we want to. What is fitness? What is health? And this is what we're striving to do in the gym. So the first thing, how we define fitness, we use the CrossFit definition, which is work capacity across broad time and modal domains. And what that means is that work capacity is how much work can you do in an amount of time, right? If you can do a workout faster, you have more work capacity. If you can get more work done in a specific time frame, you have more capacity. And then we want to make sure that we do that across different time domains, short, long, medium, all the different possibilities. We want to make sure to change that, and that's where the broad time comes in. And then we have the modal domains. What in the world does that mean? Modal domains is the variance, the different things. We want to be able to do all the things. We want to be able to lift. We want to be able to run. We want to be able to breathe heavy. We want to be able to do the gymnastics. Whatever our body can do, we want to have as much capacity in those things that we can. We want to be able to do as many things that life can throw at us. The more we can do, the more fitness we have. So work capacity across broad time and modal domains. That's what we're really shooting for. That is our fitness. Now we can start defining, well, what is work capacity? What does that mean? Another way to put work capacity is constantly varied functional movements at a high intensity. This is kind of like a different, like, that's what CrossFit is versus what is fitness. So like that constantly varied, you have that middle domain part. We want to keep the body guessing. We want to be able to do a lot of different things. We just don't want to do the strength lifts. We don't just want to do gymnastics. We don't just want to do triathlons, right? We want to be able to do all the things, and we want to mix it up, and we want to keep our body guessing. So we're going to keep it varied, not random, varied. Then we have the functional movements. So the functional movements are things that can move large loads, long distances quickly. And we like those because they're repeatable as well, right? That's one of the reasons that you don't see battle ropes in CrossFit gyms, is because, like, it's hard to measure how far. Like, you can go really small, you can go really big, and it's hard to be consistent in that movement. For a thruster, you get your crease hit below the top of the knee, and you reach full lockout at the top. There's a very clear standard for those movements. For some movements, it's not clear, or it's just not an efficient way to move large loads, long distances quickly. So we want to make sure that we're doing functional movements, and those are generally compound movements that are using multiple muscle groups at the same time. And the last one is high intensity. And high intensity is relative. It's relative to you, to me. It's relative to what your fitness is right now, to your recovery. And this is where we get results, right? We increase our intensity in school when we go to college, right? If we're trying to get stronger, you have to lift more weight. If you just keep lifting the same weight, you're not going to get stronger. It's that same thing. We need to, in order to increase your speed at a race, you need to run faster. You can't just do what you're comfortable doing. You're not going to get better doing that. You have to slowly start increasing that intensity. Now, we don't want to go from off the couch to what a professional athlete does. We want to slowly build up our tolerance in that intensity, but we do want to build it up over time. So with those things, when we can measure what we're doing, when we can measure those functional movements, if we have an endpoint to the movements, we can actually calculate how much work capacity we have. When we do a workout like Fran, you can calculate how far that bar is moving. Crease the hip, below the top of the knee. How far are you moving that weight? How much does that weight weigh? Your pull-up. I'm moving from a full locked out to my chin over the bar. You can measure that. You can measure the weight you're moving. So both of those we're measuring our power output. The same movement, the distance isn't changing, the weight isn't changing. The only thing that changes is how fast we do that thing. So the faster we do that workout, the more power we have, the more work capacity we have. And that's fitness. How much can we do in that amount of time? Now here's the kicker. Yes, that is super helpful, and we want to try and get that as high as we can. But what we really want to focus on is our health. And how do we measure health? Well, what we can do is we can measure our fitness over time. What's going to happen is generally over time we will start to degrade. But if we can keep that fitness as high as we can for as long as we can, we are going to be healthier. So if my Fran time, for example, the fastest I ever got it was 3 minutes. And then 20 years later, I do it again and it's 3:30. That's probably not a bad thing. Versus now I can't even do it. Who's probably going to be healthier, right? If we can keep that fitness level high as long as we can by having the capacity to do more work, that is going to make us healthier in the long run. So what I wanted to do with this is just to start giving you the tools and the knowledge of what we're doing and why we're doing the things in the gym, right? When we are building workouts, we are trying to increase our work capacity over any number of different time domains, over any number of modal domains. We want our body to be able to do all the things. That's why we do so many different things, why we have so many different tools at the gym. It's because we want to make sure that we're testing ourselves, that we're training ourselves in all these different areas, because we don't know what life is going to throw at us. I want to be able to pick up my grandkids when Elle has her kids, if she hasn't, right? I want to be able to do that. So by being fitter, by having more work capacity when I start getting older, that's going to help me be able to do that thing. By having that work capacity longer, I'm not a burden on Elle or the others around me. I can be independent longer. I can enjoy life. I can go skiing. I can do all the things that I want to do. That's why we do the things that we do in the gym. And we want to focus on what we eat. We want to focus on our sleep and recovery. We want to focus on our moving, our training. We want to focus on connecting with others, connecting with ourselves, making sure we understand what we're looking for and why we're looking for those things. We want to connect with ourselves. And then our mindset. We want to make sure that we're thinking, that we're learning, we're growing, that we have that growth mindset in the areas that are important to us. And that's the difference between fitness and health. We want to go for a long time. We want to see what am I capable of throughout my life. And we keep building that up. And that's how we build a hedge against sickness. Hope this was helpful. Trying to do some more tidbits about some educational stuff and why we do the things that we do. If this was helpful, share it with somebody, share it with me. I appreciate it. And as always, thank you. Cheers.